problem was technical. Um, I'm really, really happy to introduce Mr. Abhay Bishnoi. Mr. Abhay Bishnoi is an IHMA graduate and currently the cluster director of revenue at Jumeirah. You've been there, what, 13 years, Abhay? Have I got that right?
That is correct, Dr. Zubin. It's a pleasure to be here
Absolutely.
amongst you all. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. So tell me this, Abhay, you know, 18 years ago when you started your journey, probably uh, planning to do hotel management, did you see all this unfold? Did you know that you would be here? Was that the plan all along?
I mean, thank you so much for asking that question. And I'd like to start by confessing something. I'd like to state it on record that I call myself an accidental hotelier. What I mean by that is in my formative years in the 11th and 12th, I was studying to be a doctor. And actually the thought and the idea of joining IHM Aurangabad was my father's, and I'm ever so grateful to him. So if you ask me personally, 18 years ago, did I see myself in hospitality in Jumeirah? Definitely not. But I think what has really helped me is the great friendships that I made over the course of 4 years. It definitely, one of the highlights for me in those 4 years was actually to meet my wife, Ankita, who we were batchmates back then, and we've been married for 12 years and have a beautiful 7 years old daughter. And I think over those 4 years, with the modules and the cohorts that we were exposed to, let's talk about innovation, strategy, um, talking about feasibility, running an actual restaurant, physically setting it up, sales and marketing, revenue management. All these were definitely a stepping stone for me as I progressed through my journey. And I'm grateful for Taj to give me the opportunity to be part of their revenue management, Taj management training program, which actually was what helped me gain an understanding of revenue management. And then in 2012, that is when I took the leap of faith and began my journey with Jumeirah. And over the course of 13 years, I'm absolutely honored to be part of this team, and it feels so amazing to have led commercial assets within the company, which I once saw a video of. So I go back to 2008 when Mr. Karina introduced us to the making of Burj Al Arab. And at that time, I was absolutely wowed by definitely the product. And I thought to myself, maybe one day I get to work for this property. And then 10 years fast forward, I was actually heading the commercial strategy for Jumeirah Burj Al Arab, a $150 million asset, which again goes back to whatever I has given to me.
Wow, what a lovely detailed answer. So that's giving me so many questions, throwing up so many questions. Um, we don't want to make this all about work. So the first question, which was the first part of your answer, dads. When your dad suggested something that was not your plan, did you rebel? Were you upset with him? Because I know, as a dad myself, I know exactly how that feels. You think you're doing best for your kid. The kid doesn't think so. And fast forward 18 years, they feel, yeah, okay. Thank you, Dad.
No, 100%. I mean, at that time, as you are coming up with teams, you are starting to get to know the world, and you are always thinking whether you're making the right choice. There's self-doubt, but having a parent, having a father who showed you the other side and said, you know what, this could be it. So that journey definitely started with that little nudge or that push. And I personally now, in being in his shoes and being a father myself for 7 years, know exactly how it feels. So credit where it's due. So all the credit goes to him, 100%.
Wonderful. The second one, again, a personal question, and you may choose not to answer because it's going to be a little tricky. I know I would choose not to answer this question. It's about the wife. You said you met her. Like I think almost each and every one of us hoteliers, we meet our better halves at the workplace. So people always tell me that you will miss out on family time, you will miss out on this. I personally feel that you build a new family in the place that you work. um, my wife's from a hotel background herself, and she understands why we keep the hours we keep. Did you think that it helped that your wife came from a similar background as you?
Oh, absolutely, 100%. The reason why I say that, Dr. Zubin, is when we started dating and when we graduated from the hotel school. I mean, we started on the same similar path where she started off with her hospitality journey and I did with mine. But I think over the course of years, what we've realized is that you're actually in a relationship. It's like a team. You are working on each other's strengths, and definitely her strength is about always helping me push myself the extra mile, always bringing that calmness, that stability, which I and my daughter thrive on. So having a partner which understands you from the start, and then always is helping you be that better person day in and day out is surely something that I'm super grateful to have in my life.
Wonderful. Now, revenue, such a fascinating department. And you've seen a steady rise in your position over the last decade or so. What is it that revenue actually focuses on? What is it that you do and that you ensure that you remain the heart of a very throbbing, vibrant hotel community?
Thank you so much for that question, Dr. Zubin. I think I would start by thanking three people in essence. One is Dr. Jairam, the second is Mr. Miranda, and the third is Rubel, who was our senior. And the reason why I take these three names is because in year two, that is when we were exposed to the discipline of revenue management, and it was Rubel who actually introduced us to the concept and spoke about its application within the industry. And then through the years in IIT Aurangabad, I had the pleasure to work with Mr. Miranda as part of my project on revenue management back in 2008. And then in 2009-10, I had the pleasure to work with Dr. Jairam on my thesis, which again was centered around revenue management. So to ask me personally, from year two onwards, I was super clear that revenue management was my calling. Um, when we talk about revenue management, and I used to personally think as well, we have these cool acronyms. We from the outside think that the individuals in revenue management are those nerdy kinds looking at Excel spreadsheets and data and just buried under it. But as I've spent more and more time within this function, I've realized that it's actually not. And also outsiders might think that the whole day, me and my team, what we do is we just do pricing. But actually that forms a very small part of our day-to-day job. For me, in my own belief, I think revenue management is all about storytelling. It's about how you look and convert that data subsets that sit, or the golden nuggets as we call them, and transform them into a story which is easily understood by multiple stakeholders, whether it's operational needs within the property, whether it's owners, whether it's our corporate support team. So I think over the years, revenue management for me personally has become the nerve center where I'm able to harness the data that sits within our proprietary system, but equally be able to work with rooms division, F&B, with HR, and look at how do we maximize profit every given day. And I think that's what has been my understanding and evolution of revenue management.
Wonderful. So, because you deal with so much data, do you ever feel, or does your team feel that AI at some point in time might just take over? Because I know that AI cannot do what you all do. But what are your thoughts about it?
I mean, that's a great question, and AI seems to be the hot topic, not just amongst us at this point in time, but equally within the stock markets as well. So if I have to put it straight, I think AI is going to be a shot in the arm for hospitality professionals like me, where I'm able to free up time which is time intensive and actually focus more on analyzing the data and equally leading into actions. So whilst the tools will be trained to have the strategic input, it could be understanding the consumer behavior. It could be understanding what are some of the key priorities for the ownership and how do you align your commercial strategy to that. I don't think AI would be able to replicate or replace that human understanding. So I definitely feel that AI is going to help us become a lot smarter as human beings and hospitality professionals and free up time to actually do what we have been hired to do is to commercialize, to optimize profit, and equally think about what are those experiences that we want to provide to our guests for them to come back and stay within our properties.
Wonderful. Now, you are in Dubai, you're based out of Dubai. Uh, I truly believe that Dubai is the throbbing heart of the Middle East, so to speak. Um, but there is so much positivity going there in building of hotels, building of expanding of projects. Jumeirah Group itself has really added rooms left, right, and center. You know, and revenue being in the know-how, where are all these rooms going to be filled from? Where are you getting the guests? The world, everybody keeps talking about the world in turmoil. And I look at hotels being put up as an exact contradiction to that. Because if there's somebody building a hotel, that means people are at ease, people want to travel, people want to relax. So you are going very positively forward. Where are you getting these guests from?
I think I'd like to start by acknowledging the leadership of the city. And I would like to reference a point back in time during COVID. We were, as the world shut down, Dubai shut down as well, along with the world on 21st March. And I still remember that we were the first market to open back up. What I mean by that is the risk-taking capability and actually having the confidence within what Dubai has to offer, again, goes back to how the leadership has empowered different verticals within the governance model, and equally have taken the hospitality professionals, the airline professionals, um, and 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 the multifaceted stakeholders that sit within the hospitality ecosystem, and actually devised what would be and how that plan evolves. So over the course of 2021-22, Dubai was the first to rebound back to 2019, so to pre-COVID levels at that point in time, and actually turned turned um, turn the challenge into an opportunity. And I think that is what has been the the vision for Dubai. It's all about being bold. It's about taking that risk, and some of that also reflects back and rubs off on us as hospitality individuals. So it's not about just going to the same set of source markets. We at this point in time within Dubai, the key feeder markets consist of United Kingdom, Russia, India, some of the Far East countries, some of the Latin American countries. So it's all about diversification and actually taking that risk and being bold with your ambition. I think all of that has fundamentally helped us as hospitality professionals to grow from strength to strength every year.
Awesome. So you use two very exciting terms. You use multitasking and skill. So if you were to hire anybody, or if you were to lead people on your team, what essential skills would you look for? What essential tasks would you look at them being able to handle?
I would start by, and whenever I hire my team members, I first and foremost look at integrity. I think it's a non-negotiable for me as an individual because it very much goes back to what an individual is made of. So integrity is one. I think you can teach anyone the skills, but you cannot change anybody's attitude. So second for me would be the attitude. What I mean by attitude, I just like further expand on that, is about having the entrepreneurial spirit, about always thinking of what else is the next opportunity, what can we do to elevate and grow our business, and equally having the confidence to challenge the status quo. Because fundamentally, if you keep doing what has been done in the past, you will never evolve, or you're as an individual, and equally as a company as well. So for me, those three skill sets, which is integrity, um, having the right attitude, challenging the status quo, and last but not the least, I would say having that fine balance um, between knowing the answer and equally uh, leading by listening. Now, what I mean by that is, as an example, within Marsa, I lead a team of 25 individuals who come from 15 different nationalities, and two-thirds of the team is formed of females. So that's a very proud moment for me and my team because we've got such diverse ideas that come to the table, and it's not always about knowing the right answer. And this specifically came out during pre-opening time for Jumeirah Masala, where a lot of those references we didn't have. So it was all about trusting the team, empowering the team, creating that framework to be able to be the best at what we do.
Lovely. I love that word integrity. But integrity is a very fickle thing. People are dictated by their own conscience, and conscience is a product of our upbringing and compromises that we made over the years. What are probably three non negotiables for you? You do this, you're out.
I think it's about for me the first thing would be thinking about the greater good and not just thinking about yourself. Because if you are narcissistic and you're just thinking about yourself, you are not collectively helping the company um, or the community as such. So that's one. I think second is it's as simple as thinking negative about an individual or creating that negativity within the team. That's completely a non-negotiable and something which there have been times in the past in my leadership where I had to take the harsh decision, but it's always for the betterment of the team and for the company. And last but not the least is having that desire to contribute. Because if you are a slacker in a high performing team, you actually bring down the team yourself. So I would say these three would be the non-negotiables for me.
I'm a little, what should I say, worried because you started with narcissistic, and that's the go to emotion of every chef. so, so I'm a little worried now. Okay. So, you know, everybody's probably by now seen the serious, the work side of you, but I had a short glimpse when we were faced with the technical difficulties of there is a funny streak to you. So, what's the off work Abhay Bishnoi like? What is it that you do? What you like to do? And yeah, and I'm sure you have a naughty sense of humor as well. But
I mean, to start off with, I'm super competitive on a cricketing field, or when I'm playing my PlayStation. So you can hear me curse, you can hear me push my team, and I'm so grateful to have formed those friendships in IT Moranbad in those 4 years that some of my batchmates are actually still part of the cricket team. We still play paddle. We still we recount on those great memories that we've created, and it's I think that's what helps you going in an environment where you're away from family, you're away from your country, but equally you've got that friend circle which brings you down. So that for me is one. Um, it's also spending time with my daughter. Uh, she is an absolute um, um,
tyrant is the word you're looking for, tyrant.
uh, yeah, I think the tyranny has gone on me. I would personally say that. So yeah, but she, I just want to quickly highlight. I had undergone an ACL and meniscus surgery, and the recovery takes time. So I was on crutches, and at that time she was 4 years old, and at that age she had that emotional intelligence to actually push me and say, "Come on, Papa, you can do it. You can recover." So moments like that, and then now she is heavily invested in wanting to be a gymnast. So both my wife and uh, I mean, we had the pleasure to take her for gymnastic classes. She manipulated us to get her a bar set as well, so which lies right in the center of our garden. So which not necessarily is what I would have wanted, but hey, you know what? It's the daughter's will. So I am hopeful that she does well in her gymnastics career and goes on to win the Olympic gold medal for India. That for me and my wife is would be a dream come true.
Amazing. We wish her all the success. So you spent 13 years in Dubai. You had a short stint in India. You were in Mauritius. Am I right? Have I got that wrong?
Yes,
Maldives, Mauritius.
Mauritius.
Mauritius, yeah, Mauritius, perfect. I know Dubai has got a major Indian diaspora. You get almost everything Indian there. But when you come back home, when you're visiting, what are the couple of things that you rush for? You must have.
I mean, one thing is definitely goes without saying, and I can say that for everyone who lives outside of India, it's mom's food. So we are lucky that my parents and my in-laws are able to visit us and feed us and help us gain weight. And then the next 4 weeks after their departure is all about how do we lose all the extra kilos that we've gained. So that's one. I would definitely rush to home cooked food. And second for me is I would I've always wanted that my daughter experiences what our country has to offer, and what I mean by that is the culture and the diversity that our country has. So we made it a point to whenever we visit India, we want to show her the culture. We want to showcase to her the history of our country, and in essence, be proud about being an Indian because we carry these thousands and thousands of years of being a great civilization and leading from the front. So that's something that is the second component of my visit always back home.
Wonderful. You're probably the youngest cluster director of revenue in the history of the Jumeirah Group. And I'm sure that comes with a lot of merit, a lot of work that you've done. But what do you think was the turning point when your bosses looked at you and said, "This is the guy"? This There's always a turning point. There's something that you've done, a fabulous showing that you've managed, and what is it that they looked at you and said, "This is our guy, and he's our rising star"?
I, I would go back to I would go back to my years in IIT Aurangabad, and I think it was year three, if I'm not mistaken. I was part of the team of four which was selected from IIT Aurangabad, and we had the pleasure and the honor to represent the hotel school and India at Young Hotelier Summit and its first edition. And I think that experience really helped me understand the true meaning of hospitality. That's one. Second was actually put me out of my comfort zone. What I mean by that is, as part of the team, we had to come up with an innovative idea, a business idea for one of the sponsors, who ironically was Jumeirah at that time, and we had to present in front of 800 people. And that for me was a nerve-wracking experience. I had never imagined that I would be on stage presenting to such a massive crowd. So I think and part of that winning team and that experience really helped shape me as an individual. So I go back and I'm grateful to what IHM Aurangabad has provided and, and and given to me as an individual, helped me shape professionally, and equally the experience that I've had at Taj and equally with Jumeirah, where I've been able to, in my disciplines, I've been able to challenge some of what has been done in the past, and actually have leaderships who believe that without challenging what has been done in the past, you don't elevate and you don't grow. And 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 probably that was something which the company in its journey at that time, while we were carving out a niche for ourselves, while we were wanting to position ourselves within the ultra luxury space, is what something was needed, is to break that glass ceiling and challenge what has been done in the past. So for me, I would humbly say that those were some of the critical aspects which has helped me to be where I am.
Amazing. So I know that you're probably going to give a philosophical twist to the next question that I ask. Your answer is going to have a very, very serious kind of outcome. For a lot of people, and you use the term winning, and I love that term. You use the term winning. Now, for a lot of people, winning could be, I've generated an additional $1 million for my company. But I doubt that holds true for you. For you, what is winning?
For me as an individual, if you ask me, um, it's what my team has been able to do, whether it's within Jumeirah and grow within Jumeirah, within our ecosystem, or stepping out and growing and within their career. I always take pride in that, and for me, yes, winning matters 100%. But what I put always at the forefront is how my team and some of the stakeholders that I work with actually are winning because of a collective effort. So I go back to my time where I was part of team sports, and actually that helps you build the true meaning of winning. It's not about as an individual performance, but it's actually collectively as a team. And it's not always that you win. There will be days where you would lose as well, and you would come in second and third. But it's the belief that you want to be the best version of yourself tomorrow. I think that for me always holds a very special place in my heart.
Wonderful. So probably I'm reaching the end of my questions because uh, we have a little time left. Um, we all face a bit of frustration in our, not in our everyday, but sometimes. Do you have a happy place, a happy thought that you think about to yank you out of that? Because we all need something like that. Do you have something that you can share?
For me, my happy place would be back home, and I strive to try and balance or walk that fine line of work-life balance. I know in hospitality industry, especially on the operation side, that word is something that you don't say out loud. Uh, and again, as I was going through my career as well, it it was difficult. There have been times where you're under pressure, with a tight deadline, or the asset that you're managing is not performing. So I used to take that back home, and I've realized over time that what it's important that you maintain that fine balance. Um, I I try to be healthy. I try to go to the gym every morning or play a sport. So those elements are what I look at and kind of use that as elements which help me depressurize.
Wonderful. So I get what you're saying about happy place at home. For a short period of time when I'm away from home, I genuinely miss my son fighting with me, my wife nagging me. I don't know why. It's crazy. It's weird. When you're there, you're fighting with them, cats and dogs. But when you're away, I get it. I totally do. So one last question. Abhay, if you could go back and change anything, would you? If you would, what would you? If you wouldn't, that's wonderful.
To be honest, I would not change anything or any of the decisions that I've made. And if there's one thing that I could change, I would actually expand the time that I spent in IT Modern Work. So maybe have a 6-year course instead of a 4-year course, because those 4 years that I spent and I there are so many fond memories and so many friendships and networks that you created, which help you for life and propel you through life's ups and downs. So I would always be ever so grateful for those 4 years. But if there's anything in your path that you can do to expand that to six, count me in. I'm coming in for the fifth and sixth year.
Thank you so much, Abhay. That was so very kind of you to say, and we really appreciate it. For us, it's these moments that actually form a happy space the next time. Every time we feel we are going uphill, we feel that we are not doing something good, we feel people are upset with us, and then you have an Abhay Bishnoi who turns around and says, that was the best time of my life. Super. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for spending time with us. We really apologize for the little technical difficulties that we've had at the start. But thank you. You were lovely. It was great to have you. And offline, we would really like to connect to help us uh, build our revenue management program whenever you have the time. So thank you for your time, and we really, really appreciate you being here at the Alumni Reconnect at the IHME studio. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zubin, for spending the time, giving me the platform, believing in me. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Kabina for actually thinking about me and and asking me if I wanted to be part of this amazing opportunity, and I grabbed it with both hands. And also to Ms. Smita, who's been amazing, who's been so kind and accommodating in all the requests that I had. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and it would be an honor to be able to connect back and give back to IT Modern World in any way possible. Uh, and most importantly, also to my batchmates across the 4 years, which helped me form who I'm truly am. So I'm ever so grateful. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Rushad and Smita are watching this, and on their behalf, we would like to thank you for the mention. So hope to see you again soon. Hope to see you on campus. Take care. Bye. Have a lovely day.
Likewise, Dr. Zubin. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.